All right, now speaking of families, one of the major changes hurting new parents over the past year was major cuts to Israeli maternity benefits. And this due to the massive rise in unemployment. But that said, the Israeli Finance Ministry and National Insurance Institute now have some very good news. You see, normally new mothers in Israel are entitled to up to 15 weeks of paid maternity leave, with the NII paying out their regular salaries. But this entitlement goes out of the window if the mother hasn't worked during the 10 months prior to delivery. And with the COVID-caused unemployment crisis, the number of women in such a situation has risen dramatically. So to close the gaps in the safety net, the Finance Ministry has finally announced its solution. As of now, all mothers who give birth between January 1st and June 30th of this year will still be eligible for maternity leave benefits, even if they've been unemployed or on unpaid leave for extended periods of time. Moving on, 2 days ago, we reported to you that according to Professor Avi Loeb of Harvard University, an alien object passed through our solar system in 2017, thus proving that we are not alone in the universe. But what is this proof? Well, joining us now to discuss is Professor Avi Loeb himself, chair of the Harvard Astronomy Department and director of the university's Black Hole Initiative. Professor, I'm so excited to have you here because I'm somewhat a believer of myself. What can you tell us about Oumuamua, and is this the first real proof of alien life?
Well, Oumuamua is the first object that came close to Earth that was spotted from outside the solar system. It moved too fast to be bound to the sun. And at first, astronomers thought it must be a comet or an asteroid of the type that we find in the solar system that came from another star. But then as we collected data, it looked as if the object is very peculiar. It's most likely flat. It is much longer than it is wide, and it doesn't have any cometary tail, yet it is being pushed away from the sun by some additional force. And the question is, what's that force? And we suggested that it might be just the sunlight reflecting off its surface in the way that a sail reflects the wind. So we are currently developing this technology, light sail, by which you can push a spacecraft, a sail that is lightweight with a beam of light or with sunlight. And the idea is that perhaps this is some space junk or debris that was produced by another civilization. I wouldn't say that it's a proof. It's just that this object looks like nothing we have seen before, and it could be artificial in origin. And in order to find out whether it is, I mean, we cannot really chase it, but we can find other objects that look similar in the coming years.
So, again, to kind of follow up on my own question again, isn't it possible, or what's the probability that this is just a natural phenomenon that we have not yet encountered?
Well, it's interesting. Astronomers that are from the mainstream that try to explain it in terms of natural processes had great difficulties. They had to invoke, again, something that we have never seen before, like a hydrogen iceberg. And the problem with that is that it would evaporate very quickly. They suggested maybe it's a dust bunny of the type, a collection of dust particles that is very porous, that is pushed by sunlight. Again, that would not be a very stable configuration. So it's not as if they said, oh, we can actually explain it in analogy to an object that we have seen. They had to come to hypothesize the existence of things we've never seen before. And my point is, if it's nothing that like we have seen before, potentially it could be a technological equipment. It's just like going to the beach. I enjoy walking on the beach and looking at seashells, but every now and then you find a plastic bottle that may indicate that it carries a message from another civilization in the case of what we find on the sky. Now, I should say it's not a speculation that there are other civilizations, because we now know that half of the sun-like stars have a planet of the size of the Earth, roughly at the same distance from the star, so that there could be liquid water on the planet,
sure.
And also the chemistry of life as we know it. So if you arrange for similar circumstances to those that we find on Earth in billions of other systems just within the Milky Way, it's very unlikely that we are alone. And moreover, just to finish, it's very unlikely that we are the sharpest cookie in the jar, that we are the smartest kid on the block.
All right, well, I am so excited for the implications of this and how the rest of the scientific community is going to receive this data and kind of extrapolate from there. Until then, Avi Loeb, Professor Loeb, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, now let's take a look at the weather forecast. Tonight should be clear to partly cloudy again with a low of about 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius. And then tomorrow, the week-long fog should lift just a little for a sunny day with highs averaging 73 degrees Fahrenheit or 23 Celsius. And now before we go, of course, let's take a look at what's going viral in Israel. If somebody can teach me how to teach my dog to do this, I will be very, very grateful. Oh my gosh. All right, that is it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.19 shekels to the American dollar and 2.51 shekels to the Canadian dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to visit the all-new and improved ILTV website at iltv.tv and let us know what you think. Just don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter for the latest updates while you're there. I'm Aaron Porras. Thank you again so much for watching.